Casey Joyce is with us, and by phone, it's Deb Peterson, who sits on the editorial page board of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and at STLtoday.com. Good morning, Deb Peterson.
Good morning, McGraw and Casey.
Good morning.
How are you?
Great.
Great.
You add a nice side to McGraw, I might add.
Well, thank you. It's fun to be here.
We haven't scared her off yet. How about that, huh?
You haven't scared her off.
I haven't scared her off. That is correct.
Gotcha.
What do you think of 600 jobs coming to Wentzville to administer health care plans to other people out of the state because we refuse to be a part of the health care world?
Wouldn't it have been interesting if when the government looked around at where to put these sites, they would have said, oh, you know what, you guys aren't voting for this, so we're not going to put it in your communities?
Well, it's a private business who made the call.
I understand that, but, it's a private business doing the government's work. And if there had been any kind of, restrictions put on it, it would not have gone into Wentzville. However, it is. And these people should be very happy that they've got, I don't think we've added 600 jobs in any other single business in quite a while.
Well, the Wentzville plant, the GM plant up there is doing pretty well, isn't it?
It was the biggest employer. I don't know how well it's doing at the moment.
Yeah, I think
However,
they're doing okay.
This is certainly a good shot in the arm for the economy there.
No question.
And, a lot of people want to make comments that these aren't going to be high-paying jobs and these aren't forever jobs. I don't know that we know any of that. I don't think we know that they're not going to be high-paying jobs. They're probably going to be at least above minimum wage jobs. And, pardon me. And how long do we know? How do we know how long they will last? They may last for quite a while.
I would think if you're Ed Martin and you have run your career on being against Obamacare, you need to stand up and say, get these jobs out of Wentzville.
Well, first of all, if you're Ed Martin and you've run your career as so be it, right? I mean, he's certainly run for many offices. I don't know how we can say run your career.
If Obamacare is intrinsically evil and the 600 jobs are coming here, it's still evil. So
it's exactly what the Republicans always do with stuff like this. Say one thing, do another. I mean, hypocrisy is sort of
because Democrats are perfect. Come on now.
No, I'm not saying that. But in this case, this is, Republicans who hate Obamacare, which is, first of all, hard to understand why. I mean, something that actually, provides health care for people that will result in us as an economy, our economy spending less money ultimately because we won't be spending it in the way we currently spend it. Why is that negative?
How about this?
Why would any state turn down the billions of dollars that it was going to bring into their state? It's ridiculous.
Speaking of health care, I was watching something on TV yesterday, and did you know that the health care costs for meth users in the U.S. alone, you ready for this? $846 million.
Wow.
They had
a lot of money.
They had a guy who was burned himself, 3/4 of his body, took $2 million of care, and the guy had no insurance. And it's like
all stuff that we as taxpayers are paying for?
That's exactly right, yeah. I mean, the story was a really stark and sad reality on the world of health care and meth users and heroin users and everything else. But not to get into the whole health care debate here, but it is kind of funny that people are cheering the fact that 600 jobs are coming to Wentzville with health care, decent paying jobs, for a program they have voted against 800 times.
Right.
Yeah.
It's you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just crazy when you look at it. And, of course, nobody's going to turn down the jobs. They don't care what the jobs are attached to. And yet they'll stand up and, scream against it only to show that they're more right-wing than the guy next to them.
Right.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and if you were to look at people who look at the Obamacare health plan, in its totality like it. I mean, it's shown to have, where it has been put into place. New York is one example. It's showing, good results.
I think it's forcing deadbeats to actually buy insurance.
Yeah. And we ultimately pay for all those people anyway. I mean, it's not as though they're not going to get taken care of. We know they are.
All right, Casey.
So switching topics
Casey
here.
wants to ask you a question.
President Obama's on the road doing kind of a college tour. He wants to try and bring the cost of college down, make it more affordable because the cost is out of control. What is he planning to try and propose to fix it?
Well, it's interesting. He wants to tie a lot of standards and performances to schools that provide more assistance to kids, like for Pell Grant students and low-income kids. However, the one single thing that he can't control is state contributions, economic contributions to higher ed. He can't make states give more money. And the decline in what states provide for higher ed has been precipitous in the past, 20, 30 years. I mean, it just keeps going down, 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 down. As, there's more demand for money, and for whatever reason, states decided higher ed was not going to be where they put their efforts. So the burden falls onto families, and kids are, graduate, as we all read these stories, with debt that they can, crushing debt, to put it mildly. So the president's trying, but it's going to be interesting because the states aren't going to, they're not forking over more money. But Oregon has one of the most interesting plans afoot at this point, and it follows an Australian plan, which is to impose a flat tax on students post-graduation. So you graduate from a state college, you don't pay anything up front, then you're going to pay 3% of your income for 25 years. And if you're a community college graduate, you pay 1.5%. So it flew through the Oregon legislature. So other states are going to have to be looking at this stuff because, people aren't going to, what are you going to do? I mean, we need to educate kids, and there has to be methods found, and the president can only do so much. And while his commitment may be, genuine, and he says he has a personal commitment to seeing this happen, he can't force that money out of them.
Here's what we're out of time, but I want to know why textbooks cost so much. You write it once, and digitally you can download it to somebody. It costs you nothing. Why are textbooks still?
You want to know, huh, McGraw?
Why are textbooks still
$600 on textbooks?
Why are textbooks $75? It costs you 4 cents to make. Not even that. It's free once you write it.
Force your kids to get rid of their books as soon as they're done with them. They have to go back and sell them. You recoup a lot of your money.
Until
my method.
Until it's the second edition, and then the first edition's no good anymore.
And then it doesn't have much difference. And,
right, yeah. So it's a scam.
And they make kids buy these workbooks, not just textbooks any longer, because a textbook you can buy a used version, but if you buy a workbook, you have to work in.
It's a scam.
So, and parents wind up paying. Or students. I shouldn't say parents. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Deb, we got to run, but how do we get a hold of you, and where do we read all your stuff?
TLtoday.com/the platform. Visit us. Come on, talk to us. I love to get the mail. We all do. It's fun. And, keep in touch.
Deb, have a good weekend.
You too.
Ladies and gentlemen, anybody suffering from sinuses in your household? If you do, you need to know.